over 1 million people tuned into my YouTube channel last year. Got over 3 million views in the last calendar year. That's just crazy numbers, right? And doesn't it make me an excellent professional? Well, no, that's just my YouTube career, but I'm also an incredibly successful teacher. My GCSE and A-level results are frequently among the best in the schools in which I work. I'm a head of science, a lead practitioner. I'm someone who's trusted by the leaders in the schools where I've worked. And I'm really grateful for all the help and support in the professional career and all the interest and the views online in my YouTube career. I am a very good professional, and being head of science is one of the hardest jobs in schools because you have the most people to manage, you have the most exams, the most qualifications to manage. It's the biggest curriculum area. It's a bit like being in charge of your own mini school a lot of the time. And you've got to manage a big team. And I was very good at that. Also, at the same time as doing all those things, all those great results, managing those big teams, and also at the same time, I've built this YouTube channel. It's an incredible thing that I never really thought would happen this way. It hasn't really happened overnight, and it hasn't happened by accident. It's been a lot of hard work. It happened because I kept putting a lot of hard work into it. And yeah, I've got these two strands, and I'm gonna say it, I am proud of them. But that's not the only thing. They've led to other opportunities. I've collaborated with a lot of amazing people. I've written several books, been published now as a physics author as well as my own self-published work. I've achieved so many of my life goals, as well as being a father of 2 now. And a husband. I was about to say an incredible husband, but you don't say that, you say I've got an incredible wife, of course, which is true. I am a person with a lot of influence that people do look up to. It's amazing. But I remember a time when I was glad when I hit traffic on the way to work, and I was like, wow, at least I just get 15 more minutes in the car instead of getting to work on time. Knowing it wasn't really my fault, but I had an excuse to not be there at the start of the day. Have you been there? And in fact, that was just an extra 15 minutes that made my day even harder. It made it even harder to manage my already unmanageable workload. It was a really unhealthy route for me to be going down. But you know, that was the time when my YouTube channel actually started. From this chaos that I had no control over, that the most transformational thing that has happened to me in my career started. But I wasn't always that way. That was just a dip for me. I was a very idealistic young teacher. I really wanted to change things that I didn't like. I really wanted to have a massive impact on education. Not just my classroom, not just my department, but in moving to a different school, I realized I wanted to affect more than just one school. But that move into a different school taught me some really hard lessons. I went through a really dark period where I felt quite trapped and I felt unable to do a good job. And I think if I'd have just carried on that route, I would have wound up depressed. And there are many of us who have felt like that at some point in teaching, and there are many of us who have felt like that at some point in lots of different professional careers. And I want to speak to those people because these things can happen to all of us at any stage in our career. Okay, perhaps you'll get lucky. Perhaps you'll go through your entire career. Well, no, you won't get lucky. Perhaps you'll manage your entire career and not be in one of these dark periods like what I had, near depression, and really where I saw the writing on the wall. I knew if I was to carry on in the way I was, that was where I was headed. I think that what I learned from that period can really help everybody. I realized that it was on me, that I was just a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. I wasn't fitting in the situation. It was me, it wasn't these other professionals, and it wasn't the school. They were all just trying to do their best as well. I didn't blame other people. I looked to myself and I looked to my own drivers and my own motivation. What I learned was that for me, my expectations of this job was very different to the reality of the job. I learned that I didn't yet have the skills to change the situation. That's what would be needed of me if I was to make that particular situation a success. The situation was either going to carry me along or I was going to leave it. And the first option wasn't an option. That would have been a professional disaster. So what I mean is, don't choose to seek to blame, choose to seek to understand the situation. It's a wind in my eyes. Really think about the situation, try and think objectively about the situation that you're in if you find yourself in one of these positions. Really ask yourself, what is the situation? What is causing you these stresses? What's causing these anxieties? And if necessary, just remove yourself from that situation. Don't expect the solution to come from somewhere else. The solution isn't going to come from a meeting with your boss. It isn't going to come come from them taking some responsibilities away from you, trying to manage your anxiety in this way. That's only going to lead to more frustrations and more anxieties further down the line, just like postponing the inevitable, really. The solution isn't going to come from people removing demands from you. The solution is going to come from you assessing your skills, assessing the gaps you have, working out the learning needs that you have, and then doing something about them. And that's what I mean when I say evaluate everything.